year and a half. So what happened to the second attempt?
I didn't get selected. They applied. 19 was the first time that I was in the lottery system for
Hmm.
H1B. But by that time, there were like so many registrations for H1B,
Hmm.
so didn't get selected. Even the last attempt, I didn't get it. And by that time, I had already applied for another master's degree with University of Cumberland's.
Hmm.
So that gave me some room, so I had to study again. That was like really a tough job to have a full-time work and then do assignments on the weekend. Then I realized that I have to leave the country.
What would you say to the people who are aspiring, for like people who are losing hope on H1B? Like, what would you tell them to? Thank you, Rajit, for doing this. I am excited. I was actually very shocked when you told me about the five attempts and then Canada and then moving back. So I'm actually interested to like hear your story and your perspective of like how this whole navigation happened. But before we get into that, let's do like a quick intro. Where are you from? What do you do now? Where like what did you do in United States? And yeah, and then we'll go from there.
So I'm from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Born and brought up there. I did my bachelor's from Bhopal itself, and then I got a job at Larsen and Toubro
Hmm.
in Pune. So I've stayed in Mumbai, Pune, and then I came to the US. So yeah, right now I've stayed in the US for almost like 6 7 years now. I
Hmm.
came in 2017.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the story. Now I'm working with Adobe in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Nice. And what's your role currently?
I'm a software development engineer in site reliability engineering team.
And then did you come here as an F1 visa student, or like how did you come here in United States?
Yeah, I did masters from University of Utah, so on F1 in
Okay,
2017.
nice. Okay. And so let's just go through the timeline. So you obviously came as a master student, you finished your masters, and then did you start working for Adobe or were you working for a different company?
No, the first job I got was with a company called Visible Supply Chain Management. They were later acquired by Maersk. So it was a supply chain company. There I was
Hmm.
a cloud engineer. So
Hmm.
mostly like handling AWS and Azure workload, and again, their deployments more like a DevOps work.
Hmm.
So I stayed there for 1 year. Then I lost that job. I had to find one again in like 2 months. So I got another job in
When you
Salt
say
Lake.
lost, as in you were let go?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. You're
So
so chill about it. Okay.
I'm like now,
uh,
now in the hindsight, if you see, like it's very common in the US. Like it's not
right.
a big
There's like
deal when
hire
you
and
talk
fire
about that.
culture. They say it.
Yeah. So now it feels like, oh, it was like nothing, because for
Hmm.
people it's okay, they will get another job, but for students who are coming from a different country on a visa, it's kind of really stressful, difficult.
Before you watch this, I want to quickly say that most people underutilize LinkedIn. They don't understand the power of LinkedIn and how to leverage LinkedIn to get jobs. I have built an ultimate course. It's going to teach you everything from optimizing your profile, getting sourced by a recruiter on LinkedIn. There are live examples, and also how to use LinkedIn and leverage LinkedIn to create the job opportunity that didn't even exist. You didn't even know that it existed. Let me give you a quick sneak peek, and I will tell you that more than 350 students have joined this course and they are loving it. And you can see everything from setting your profile, networking, search techniques, job hunting technique, and like live examples where I'm actually reaching out to people and doing cold networking, etc. You'll also get free plugin, premium plugin for H1B and OPT and all of that. So I highly recommend you check out. Link will be in the description. What? How did you process it the first time you
Just
were like let go?
panic. I mean, like I had to drive back home, and the whole like 15 20 minutes drive, I was just thinking like, what happened? And it was like 2 or 3 days before my birthday, and then I was like, okay, I shouldn't be
That's a nice
celebrating
birthday
this.
gift. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and so my birthday is in March, and I was just waiting for them to do the H1B uh,
Mm.
filing, and they just
Oh,
did it before that. I was like, wow, this
that
is
is
so cool.
cruel. That is cruel. They just wanted to avoid those whole thing and then
Yeah.
they just let it go. Okay. Wow.
No, but there
Mm.
were a lot of other people because of the acquisition. I think they were just letting everyone like
Yeah, the
go, and then
merger and acquisition always like yeah, people always lose jobs over there. Right. And
yeah,
I'm assuming the company you got acquired, so always the company who is buying it has a lot more say.
yeah,
So anyway, okay. So you got let go. You had obviously you missed that first attempt of your H1B, and
yeah.
then you were trying to find another job. You got another job. Is that Adobe or there was something else?
No, the second job that I got was Sorensen Communications in Utah as well. I stayed there for almost like 1.5 year.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was a good experience. I learned there a lot. I mean, like from my first experience in the US, I was just like, okay, anything can happen here now. So you have to be um every time ready for anything, keep learning, keep performing. So the
Hmm.
second job
Yeah.
was more like, oh, I have to like uh, be my best from day one. Otherwise,
Hmm.
it's just really difficult to survive.
Yeah. And so the year and a half. So what happened to the second attempt then?
I didn't get selected. They applied. I think 2019 was the first time that I was in the lottery system for
Hmm.
H1B. But I think by that time there were like so many registrations for H1B
Hmm.
that already like people who were just applying with one job and one registration, they had a very low chance,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
didn't get
Hmm.
selected.
Right. What you're going to watch is an amazing story, but before you watch that, I just want to quickly say that all of these story I compile the key insights from these stories and all the podcasts that I do, and I put this in my free exclusive newsletter community. Every week more than 16,000 people receive my newsletter and they love it. And here are some of the examples. You can see this was a podcast on George Mason universities, and you can see how to network and 10% cold emailing, powerful LinkedIn techniques, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in becoming part of this exclusive newsletter community, absolutely free. Link is in the description, or you can go to udj.com/newsletter. So now you are on the last attempt. Like, how did you navigate that? Uh, were you like, okay, let's just see what happens. I'll take a chance and then I'll think about it. Were you planning something else already?
uh I was just hoping for the best, like that I would um, get selected in the the last attempt. But then by the time I knew that like this is, if this is the last time, I need to like apply for another degree or something, or find another way to stay longer and get those extra like two more chances for H1B.
Hmm.
So yeah, even the last attempt, I didn't get it, and by the time I had already applied for another master's degree with University of Cumberlands.
Mm.
So that gave me some room, so I had to study again. That was like really a tough job to have a full-time work and then do assignments on the weekend, and that was the COVID time. So
Mm.
luckily I don't have to go to like physical in-person
Yeah,
classes.
it was all
That was more
online.
virtual. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. But still, you had to like still do the assignments and maintain the grade and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So
Yeah. And so you transition from F1. I mean, you probably just stayed on F1 and just moved your service from one university to
yeah.
this new university. Okay. And then that university allows assuming day one CPD. Is there any different process for like to get activated, or is it just pretty much like, hey, I have a job, I would
Um,
like to activate?
No, I think it's very simple. As if like you're just applying like to your regular university. It's not even called the day one CPT. So they just say that, yeah, in our curriculum we allow for people who are working to just keep working as a, because that course is executive course, and that's how they present it, and that's what the purpose of the course is. So
Hmm.
you just apply, you just talk to your student counselor, they tell you that the job needs to be aligned with what you're studying. So the masters that I did was around security, information systems security.
Hmm.
So that was perfectly aligned with my job. Um, so yeah, that really helped.
Nice. Okay. And so then you got two more attempts and you tried for both the attempts with the same company, or was this with Adobe? Like when did Adobe come in the picture?
So after I got enrolled into this second masters, right after that, like in 2019, 2019 and 2020, I don't remember now. But
Yeah.
yeah, back in that time, I got selected for Adobe.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think the first attempt I didn't get selected. The second attempt with Adobe, I got selected, but by that time, my Cumberland's degree was almost like ending.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was also tricky because then I realized that I have to leave the country for some time
Wow.
to come back on H1B
Hmm.
in October.
So you left the country. Did you go to India back, or this is when you went to Canada?
So I already knew that I was selected for H1B. So what I did, I
And sorry, this is the fifth attempt, right?
yeah, this is the fifth and the last
Oh
attempt.
wow, fifth attempt. You
And,
got selected, but you ran
yeah,
out of your visa, F1 visa.
yeah, I
Hmm.
ran out of that time, so I had to move out
Hmm.
because like I didn't want it to convert into like a B1, B2 visa or any other visa.
Hmm.
So what I did was I asked my manager if they would be willing to transfer me to Canada
Hmm.
for some time.
Hmm.
So that like when I have my uh, counselor processing done for my H1B, then I could come back. So I had no idea how much time that's going to take. But luckily it was just like 4 or 5 months,
Hmm.
and I was able to come back in October.
Hmm. So and so you did your H1B stamping in Canada.
Yeah.
How was the interview process? Was it in like I'm curious now because did they ask you about day one CPD at all or no?
No, like there was no mention, just like normal questions. Where do you work? What do you work as? What are your responsibilities? And that's it.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting. Okay.
no question about the degree or anything.
Hmm. It was purely focused on your work visa.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay. Nice. And so then you decided to move back to Utah. Like, is it?
yeah, yeah. I was just like so desperate to come back because Canada was getting cold, and it was like, okay, this is the time. Either you leave or you have to be here for like the time because it's the
Right.
winter was there,
How
and I
was
had no
Canada?
car. Canada is more like the US. I just felt like it's more expensive when you like talk about the rent and food.
Where were you in
Because like
Canada?
the in Ottawa,
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
because I think the economy is a bit uh, struggling. So
Yeah.
that's why, and the Canadian dollar is also not as powerful as US dollar, so that also
Right.
affected.
Nice. How like were you? It looks like, at least from talking to you, it feels like you pretty much mentally accepted that this is the reality, and I just have to, like, this is part of the process, and I just have to go through the process. Was it like, is that how you processed it, or like was there a different thing? Because obviously 5 times attempting and every time you didn't get not getting picked, and like how was the whole process for you mentally?
Mentally, it was really exhausting because I like nobody knows what's going to happen. Like from the first attempt, I missed that. Then second, I was just hopeful that okay, I will get it. And every attempt, I just thought that, oh, yeah, I will, it will be there. I was just waiting for the email from the
Mm,
lawyer that, okay, you're selected. But
mm.
yeah, that never happened. And even on the last attempt, that email from the lawyer went to my junk um,
Oh no.
folder. So I realized very late that, okay, I'm selected, because the fifth attempt, I had no hope
All right, you
that
had
this is
given
going
up
to
hope.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that I was just going to stay in Canada for maybe a year and then probably come back after that.
On TN visa or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, or maybe get a Canadian residency and then think about it. So
Mm,
yeah.
mm. And all this time, did you visit family or no? You couldn't visit.
Um, After enrolling to the second degree, I didn't go. Before that, I just went once to India after like graduating. That was right before COVID hit. I think like in 2019 January,
Mm, mm,
2018 December, and
mm,
2019 January.
mm,
So that's where I went, and then I went right after I was selected for H1B. So I took like 1 month off. I spent that month in India,
mm,
uh, and then I went to Canada. So
mm. Nice. Okay. Um, before we go into like more tactical stuff of career, one last question is like, what would you say to the people who are aspiring to have this, American dream? Because everyone sees like social media and they think like life is so great in America, right? And so like, yeah, and one, what would you tell them? Like, would you tell them that America is still the best place to come to pursue tech career? uh, and second question is for like people who are losing hope on H1B. Like, what would you tell them to? So, like two separate questions.
I'm like aspiring students who are seeing their future in America. I would just say that just be ready for the struggle, because it's not so easy the way it looks. Because a lot of people, like even us, we don't portray the negative side on Instagram or Facebook. Like the first year was really tough in the US, because you have to like do part-time jobs, find work, internship, and then study, do assignments. And I had a full-time job in India that I left to be here in the US. And I was like, what's going on? Because my life just completely changed from getting like salary every month to like wondering about what's going to happen now, since it's so expensive
Yeah.
getting groceries, and even like dealing with snow, or just doing everyday work. It can get really depressing when you don't have your friends around or your
Yeah.
family to take care of you. So yeah, the
Mm,
first 2 3 years are going to be really tough. And yeah, so if you're aspiring to be here, and if you see your life in a different country, then yeah, just accept the reality that it's going to be tough. I would highly encourage people to follow their dreams, but yeah, the reality is that it's not very easy to do that.
mm,
And for the second question, I'm like, for H1B, it's all like random. So
mhm,
like, yeah, you cannot even say like, for most of the people, they just get selected in the first 2 3 attempts. And it rarely happens that you're not going to be selected in those 3 attempts. So I was a rare case, but if it happens with you, just like stay strong. You have to keep trying, keep looking for alternative paths. Maybe like going back to India is not a bad thing. So I
mm,
was ready to go back to India, like work from there for a couple of years, and then maybe plan to go somewhere else. Because yeah, it's never the end.
mm,
H1B is not everything. So
mm, mm,
it is a very exhausting process to get selected and then do all the documentation, and then like keep waiting. But
mm,
even now, like on H1B, I feel like if I get fired tomorrow, then
You have
like yeah,
60
I have to,
days.
yeah, I have to
Yeah.
60 days to find another job. So it's never ending.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's I was talking to I do like every Saturday live session with immigration lawyer, and I was talking to him, and he said every time you get out of the country and you come back, there's a potential risk of them not letting you in
Yeah.
because of anything you could have done, and it popped up, and they can just say like, nope, you you did this mistake in 2016, that's why we can't let you in. And I was like, wow. And that was one of his client that happened. So he worked for, this is the story of a, like his client, where he worked for a consultancy who got blacklisted, barred, during opt to stop the opt clock. And anyway, so like that happened, and this is like 5 years ago, and now this guy is like has I-140 approved and coming, and nicely with his wife. And mm, they're like, hey, you worked for this company, this company was blacklisted. They asked a lot of questions, they put him aside in that side box and like took him for 30 minutes, and now they're like, okay, we can't let you in, you need to like redo your visa interview and go back. And I was like, wow, this could also happen. That's scary. But
Yeah, it is scary. The whole immigration process. It's yeah.
yeah. Would you still say like America is a good place to come for education and career?
Yeah, definitely. It forces you to learn. It forces you to get out of that comfort zone that we have in India, and they are not stopping you to like go back after you learn, you get your degree. So that would probably change in like next 10, 20 years, that people would start like coming here for their degrees and then like probably go back more.
Mm,
Because right now what I feel like, even like people like me who come here, they want to stay for longer.
mm,
And as like the economy of India is growing, we would have almost same opportunities or same salaries in India too. So if you're just coming to the US for a good education, which may take a lot more time in India to be
mm.
at the same level as in the US, but when that happens, then yeah, it's completely just, you're just going to the US to get more global exposure and then like go to some other country to work. And then
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it would be a better scenario when like the students would have that freedom to just go wherever they want and not just be in the US for a nice opportunity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not seeing this as like a end goal, more like I'm going for exploring. Like I want to explore, work, get some experience, come back, and because I know at home there's going to be more opportunities, better opportunities as well. So, yeah. Again, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and like being so open and honest about it. So I'm excited for people to see it, and yeah,